why it sucked to be a Viking fisherman. Picture yourself waking before the sun, in a long, low wooden house, shared with your family, your neighbors, and even a few animals. The air inside is heavy, thick with the lingering scent of smoke from the central hearth, mixed with the unmistakable temps of salted fish hung to dry along the rafters. Your bedding is simple straw, perhaps with a rough wool blanket tanned. It clings faintly to the smell of damp wool, and bodies pressed close together through the night. When you rise, the floor beneath your feet is uneven, hard-packed earth. It is cold, and your breath leaves a pale mist as you step outside. The village is small, just a scattering of longhouses with turf roofs, a few sheds for boats and tools, and paths trodden down to mud. Beyond it lies the sea, always the sea. For the Viking fisherman, this was not a romantic backdrop. It was the heart of survival. The ocean provided food, wealth, and sometimes tragedy. Each day was shaped by its demands. Nets had to be mended, lines checked, hooks sharpened, boats tarred against the constant assault of salt and spray. These tasks were endless, repetitive, and carried out in weather that was rarely kind. The catch itself was often cod, herring, or haddock. When pulled from the water, the fish were slick and cold, their scales catching the faint morning light. You would gut them quickly, fingers stiff in the chill, then hang them on wooden racks to dry in the wind. The smell was constant, sharp, oily, unmistakable. It clung to your clothes, your hair, even your skin, so that a fisherman carried the scent of the sea wherever he went. The dangers were never far. Storms could rise suddenly, with winds that turned calm waters into chaos. A small open boat, no more than a few planks lashed together with skill and patience, could be tossed about like a toy. Many did not return. A fisherman's family lived with the quiet knowledge that each departure might be the last. And then there were the smaller, quieter hardships. Sea lice that bit at your skin, leaving it irritated and raw. The constant dampness, soaking boots, woolen tunics, and hair until it seemed you were never truly dry. Fingers cracked and bleeding from the rough weave of nets. Eyes stinging from salt spray. Meals were simple, repetitive, and never quite enough. Dried fish, sometimes softened in water before being eaten. Barley bread, dark and heavy. A thin ale, weak but safer than water. Occasionally, a treat, a bit of butter, a slice of cheese, a piece of dried fruit brought by a trader, but such luxuries were rare. Life moved to the rhythm of the sea. When the fish were plentiful, work stretched from dawn until long after dusk. When the waters were empty, anxiety hung heavy in the village. Winter brought even greater challenges, as food stores ran low and the sea turned even more dangerous. And yet, in this cycle of hardship, there was a certain resilience. The people of these fishing villages endured, generation after generation, because they had little choice. The sea was both enemy and provider. It demanded respect, and it gave just enough to keep them alive. As you listen, imagine yourself there, pulling a heavy net with numb hands, standing ankle-deep in cold surf, hearing only the rush of waves and the distant cry of birds. The work is endless, the cold unrelenting, the smell unforgettable. But this was life. This was survival. On the edge of the Viking world,